What the is Backyard Ultra?
Basically a 6.7k loop on the hour every hour. So if you don't finish 6.7k's within the hour, then you're out.
Phil Gore is an ultramarathon runner, a full-time firefighter, a father of 4, and a next-level beast from Western Australia. He is a 2-time world record holder for the Backyard Ultra, with a previous record of 102 yards in 2023, and currently holding a world record of 119 yards set in June 2025. That means 119 laps, 6.7k per lap, 791.1 kilometers total distance, ran over 4 days and 23 hours. Do you do any specific training for the Backyard Ultra?
I could do 100k's just running to and from work in a week.
What does go through your head at 3 a.m. on a day 4 when you're still running?
Kind of a little bit of
So what does it mean to you eating healthily?
Like I don't have any strict diet or anything like that. I just try to eat like more real food.
Do you ever hallucinate during the race?
I do kind of see.
Welcome to Chief Life, the podcast that cuts the crap with science-backed insights on health, nutrition and performance. Get expert advice, actionable tips and everything you need to take control of your health and live your best life. Let's get started. The legendary Phil Gore, champion in the Backyard Ultra. Welcome, Phil. How are you today?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Let's get straight into it. What the hell is Backyard Ultra?
So yeah, it's a very niche sport within the ultra running umbrella. Basically a 6.7k loop on the hour every hour, and it just keeps going until there's only one person left. So yeah, if you don't finish the 6.7k's within the hour, then you're out.
Yeah, so it's the last man standing.
Yep, so as soon as the second last person drops out, the last person just needs to do one more lap. They declared the winner, and everyone else is a DNF.
Amazing. So just to put things in perspective, you ran the last time 4 days, 23 hours. It was 119 laps, which is over 791 kilometers. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it was 798 kilometers.
798, okay.
Yeah, 119 hours, which is, just 1 hour short of 5 days.
It's crazy. I just want to emphasize, guys, this guy ran 5 days in a row, okay? I have so many questions to ask about this, and I don't know where to start. So I think I'll just start from the beginning. When did you start running and why?
So I first started running in high school. I was never really good at team sports or stuff like that. So running was just the easy one to kind of gravitate towards. I got pretty good at it in high school, but then I left school, started working full time and life got in the way and running took a back. And it wasn't until about 10 years later, I kind of picked it up again. So I changed jobs, got into the firefighters, and so I had a job where I needed to keep fit, but I also had a bit of spare time. Like we've got a really good roster, which gave me a few days off. And so I just kind of got back into running then because wanted to keep fit and use up this spare time, and just kind of grew from there. So I just started doing 5k runs and worked my way up to marathon, and I was pretty content with a marathon being my longest distance. I got a free entry into an ultra marathon, which was a 12-hour run. And that's kind of where I had my eyes opened up to this whole other world beyond a marathon. My first backyard was in 2020, and finishing that event, I think I found the event that I was built for, and I just wanted to explore that space.
It gets addictive. My story is a bit similar to yours. I started with like 7k running race and then half marathon and ultra, but I never made it to Backyard Ultra because I just keep getting injured, so I don't think it's for me. And it's incredible how your body can sustain this. How many hours a week do you actually train?
It does vary, probably anywhere between, say, 10 and maybe 16, 17 hours. But just depends where I am in my training cycle. So, and I build that up gradually as well. So I won't go from doing a 10-hour week to the next week doing a 17-hour week. I kind of do it incrementally. So I'll slowly build up, and then I'll have a deload week, and then I'll start another build and deload week. So it is very sort of systematic the way that I approach it. But I don't really look at it as how many hours it takes me in a week, because it just kind of fits into my day. Like a lot of my runs are running to and from work. So, that's just my normal daily commute. So that's just it's just part of life. It's just how I get to work.
I
So
love
yeah, I
it.
don't
How
really.
long does it take you? How many Ks is it to and from work?
So in a straight line, it's about 4.5 Ks, but very often I will take the long way. So if I'm on a day shift, I'll get up early and I'll run like, yeah, 15, 20 Ks before work. But then at the end of the day, I'll just take the short 4 Ks home. Um, so yeah, it just depends on what I've got on my training plan for that day. But I normally just work that into my commute.
That's amazing. Do you do any strength training or any other training?
Yeah, so I get into the gym. I'd like to say 3 times a week, but it's probably closer to two. If I've got a busy week with other things, or I pick up extra shifts at work or something like that, the gym workout is normally the first thing that I drop. But I try to be consistent with it. But yeah, I'd say 2 to 3 times a week. I'm in the gym, and that's doing body pump classes. Yeah, other than that, yeah, I don't do any other sports or cross training. It's just the running and the gym work.
That's crazy. That's not a lot of training to run 780 or 90 or whatever it was kilometers.
Yeah, well, with the body pump classes, they're kind of designed in a way that it's a full body workout in 45 minutes. So I find it's like the most efficient use of my time when I'm in the gym. If I kind of go into the gym and do my own thing, like if I'm not going to a class, I find I'm not working as hard or working, doing the right exercises or whatever. So yeah, it's not a lot of time in the gym, but I think the time that I am in there, I'm using that time quite efficiently.
Yeah, you are. And I guess you are a full-time firefighter, father of four. So you don't have a lot of time. But I'm still shocked with the training. Do you do any specific training for the backyard ultra? Something that no other runners do is just specific to backyard ultra?
Not particularly. Like a lot of people when training for backyard ultra might do like a backyard simulation where they do it in the format of let's run 6.7 Ks an hour. I don't do stuff like that just because I feel like I've had quite a lot of experience in the backyards anyway, so I don't need to do the simulation to feel what that's like. But I do have things like as I said before, like to and from work is 4.5 Ks for the quickest route. But then I've also got a route which is 6.7 Ks. So in the lead up to a backyard, I'll probably do this 6.7 K route a bit more often just to get used to that distance and just instill in my mind what that feels like, and kind of treat that 6.7 as like the minimum that I'm lacing my shoes up for. So that sort of stuff, it's not so much the physical side of it, but I think the more mental side of it. Yeah, just training your mind to know what that distance is and what it feels like.
Yeah. Why do you actually love backyard ultra so much in comparison to other races? Because you've done other ultra races and mountain races. Why backyard ultra?
Um, well, I think what initially appealed to me was it's just this race that has no finish line. So it's you can really test yourself and push yourself as far as you can go. And I guess there was kind of a bit of curiosity at the start, and I was just like, well, just how far can I go? Like I could feel really comfortable running for 24 hours, and I think I'm still feeling good. Like how much longer could I keep going? So the backyard ultra is an event where you can do that. Um, the downside with the backyard ultra for the winner is the person who's kind of left wondering because the winner has to stop because that second last person stopped. So some of these events I've finished as the winner and be like, oh, I'm glad that's over. Like I couldn't do another lap. But then other times I felt great and it's like, oh, hang on, how much further could I have gone? Because I was feeling really good there. So yeah, it's kind of appealing in that way. But in terms of like comparing to other ultra marathons, I think it's a really good format to like really break it down step by step. So all you have to do is focus on one lap at a time. You're not thinking about a finish line and you're not counting down the minutes until it ends because it's just open ended and you have to really get stuck into that process. Whereas other like point to points, you can break it down into each aid station and stuff, but an aid station could be 12 Ks or it could be 30 Ks. And each time you're still kind of counting down the aid stations like, okay, I've got 3 aid stations to go. I've got 2 aid stations to go. And you do have that finish line. But with a backyard ultra, it's like the kind of not knowing where the finish line is kind of a cool concept.
Yeah, I love it. I wish I could do it. Maybe I'll just come and do a few laps with you. So,
Yeah.
talking about you not wanting it to end, the last time when you ran those 119 laps, did you have any more laps in you or you didn't that time?
Yeah, that one, I'm surprised at how well I felt at the end. Like I wouldn't say it's the best I've ever felt, but I did feel really good, and I definitely felt like I could keep going. Like I even reached a point somewhere in the, I think, fourth or fifth day where I was just running, and I'm just like, why does this feel so effortless? Like it felt easier in the later stages of the race than it did in the early stages. So I definitely reached that point where it's like I could keep going, and it was just for me, it was just a matter of patience and time because I could see the other person who I was up against was deteriorating. He had issues with his Achilles and he was struggling through those, well, probably the last 24 hours at least, I'd say. And so it was just a matter of patience. Like I felt really strong and confident and yeah, I just had to focus on doing my race and I knew that eventually at some point he would stop and then the race would be done.
And it must be pretty exciting. What does go through your head at 3 a.m. on a day four when you're still running? What's in your head?
Um, I think in the later stages it gets easier because you kind of you everything starts to blur together. So you don't really feel like you're out on the course for as long. Whereas like in the early days, like the first few hours, the first, 24, 48 hours, you're very aware of how long you've been out on the course for and the laps can seem to drag on. But yeah, in the later stages, you just be running and then, you're suddenly near the finish line and you're like, oh, okay, I'm nearly done with this lap, and now I get to go and have my sleep and I'll come out and do it all again. And yeah, so I think yeah, there's kind of a little bit of that fatigue and delirium um, just kind of sets in a little bit, and yeah, like it does make it easier in a way. All the laps are just kind of blurring together. And as far as what I'm thinking about when I'm out there, like I could think of 1,000 different things, like all these different ways that I can change the world or something. But as soon as I finish the lap and I come in to my crew, it's like I've forgotten all of that, and it's just just get into that mode of what I need to do during the break. And even like to the point, like I'll be out there running and it's like, oh, I've got to remember to tell my crew this, or I've got to ask them about this. And I'll have to repeat that to myself in my head because I know like when I get back, I might forget it. And a lot of the times I do forget it. And then I start the next lap and then it comes back into my head. And it's like, oh, I was meant to ask my crew about that. And then so I have to wait till I've done the whole lap again, get back and yeah, then tell them. So
Yeah, it
yeah,
always
it can get a
happens to
bit,
me. Yeah, I always like get ideas when I run or like think about things that I have to do, and as soon as I finish the run, I forget.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
really funny like that, hey?
yeah. It happens on training runs as well. Like I'll go out for a training run. It's like, oh, when I get home, I have to do this or have to remember to clean this or call this person, whatever it is. And then, I get back in, have my shower and yeah, just kind of settle back at home, and I've forgotten all of those things that I was meant to do until the next day. I go running again, and for some reason it comes back into my head. And it's like, oh yeah, I must remember to do that today.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
That happens to me all the time, almost every run. Do you ever hallucinate during the race?
Not really. Like I do kind of see shapes and images and stuff, but I know it's not me. I know it's not real. Like it'll be like a tree or a log or something in the distance, and my mind will make it out to look like, oh, this is a dog or it's a person. But then as I get closer to that object, it's like, oh no, it's just a log or it's just a tree. But I never really see like those vivid hallucinations. And I think that's just kind of a combination of, making sure I'm getting the right sleep, making sure I'm getting the right nutrition. I'm not exerting myself too hard on the laps. Um, so I keep all of those things in check and my mind can kind of stay pretty coherent. Sometimes I'll get really confused. Like if those things aren't lining up and I'm not getting the sleep and I'm not getting the nutrition, I've had stages where I'm getting really confused and I'm like, what is it I'm actually doing? Like, why am I running? What's the point of this? Why did I sign up for this? But yeah, as far as hallucinations go, as in your traditional hallucinations, I haven't really
Okay.
experienced those.
Mhm. Interesting. And have you ever had a moment where you thought, this is it, I can't do this anymore, I'm done? And if you had that moment, how did you push through?
I've had a few races like that. I would say, I think, so 2022 is a good example. So at the Satellite Champs, um, at around lap 60 or 61, I think. And this was at the time, my PB was 54. So I'm in new territory. I've got into the 60s and I had an issue happen with my leg where it was just like this really weird cramp and I couldn't really walk. I could jog okay, but I couldn't really walk. And I come back in and I said to my crew, I've got this issue with my leg. Like I can't walk properly. Um, I think this is getting close to the end. Like you might want to wake up Gemma. So Gemma's my wife. She was crewing for me. She'd gone down for a nap. I'm like, you might want to wake her up because this could be my last lap. And I didn't even think I was going to start that next lap, but my crew was really good. And they're like, no, look, you just got to start this lap. And I went out on that lap and I actually ran it better because I couldn't walk properly. I had to run more. And so I actually finished the lap quicker. And then they're like, my crew's like, so you did it. And I'm like, yeah, I did it, but I'm exerting too much energy running. And I was getting worried that I was running too much. And they're like, no, just keep doing that. And yeah, so from thinking at lap 61, I thought I was going to have to stop. I ended up getting to 76 in that race, which was the winning total. And yeah, but as it got towards the end, like every lap, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to go out again. And my crew just kept coming up with a different reason why I had to go on the next lap. And my mind was kind of in the state that I was just like believing anything that they were telling me. So yeah, I'd go out for the lap and come back and they're like, okay, you just got to do one more. This is the last lap you got to do. Like, Ryan is about to drop out. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I've got to do one more lap. And I go out for the one lap and I come back and then like, oh no, now you got to do another one. So, and I was just, yeah, I was in that state where like, I just believe it and I go out and I run. And when that was actually my last lap, so it was an out and back, and I'd gone to the turnaround and I'd come back and I'd met Ryan and he told me that he was done. He wasn't going to be able to finish that lap. And I was so relieved and I was like, thank God this is over. And there was probably about, I don't know, 1 or 2 Ks left from that point, and it was the hardest 1 or 2 Ks that I'd ever done in that race because my mind was just like, yep, cool, you're done. And it just kind of broke down and I struggled to finish that last lap, but I was just like, I just got to finish this lap because then I know I'm finished. I don't need to go out again. So yeah, there's definitely been moments where I've thought I haven't been able to continue, but I, my crew's convinced me to go out there, and I've kept going.
Yeah. That's beautiful. So to be able to continue, you need to find the reason why, the purpose,
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah.
And so what are some of the reasons, if you can share? You don't have to, but I'm just curious, what are some of the reasons why you have to keep going that they give you?
Um, well, they kind of sometimes it's they'll I don't want to say lie. Maybe they trick me and they say like, oh, the other guy's not looking that great. He's only got a couple of laps left in him, and that might be enough to make me go 1 or 2 more because I'm thinking it's about to end. But then, like 10 laps later, I'm still there, and the race is still going. But then also, it's just they can remind me of when I felt like this before. They'll be like, oh no, you felt like this in the last race, remember? And you were able to overcome it. Or, when the sun came up, you started feeling better. Or even just like, yeah, what I've done in my training or other races and just kind of reminding me that, no, hang on, I am better than this. This isn't a good enough reason for me to stop. I can keep going. So just kind of, yeah, they just instill that belief in me that, no, hang on, like I'm Phil Gore. I can do this. I'm not going to stop because of this little niggle I've got or this little mental issue that I'm having or whatever it is. I can keep going.
Yeah, so obviously this is a lot about mindset, but is this race for you actually harder on your mind or on your body? What do you think?
Yeah, it's it's very much both, I think, because obviously you need the physical fitness and you need the foundations to be able to carry your body through, 800 kilometers. Like you're not just going to be able to, just have a really strong mindset and no physical training and be able to run that far. So I think I get my body to a point physically where it can go the distance. And then that makes it easier mentally, because it's when the body starts breaking down and you start having issues, that's when you really need to dig in mentally to help you get further. Whereas for me, it's like I kind of try to train my body up to that point where I don't get to those stages where I really need to dig in mentally. If I do need to dig in mentally, like I can, and I definitely have that capability. And there have definitely been races where I've really had to dig in when my body's just telling me no, and my mind has had to really overcome that. But yeah, I would say it's definitely a mix of physical and mental. A lot of people will say it's a lot more mental, um, but you do really need to have that physical component there as well.
My good, 100%. But about the mindset, so do you naturally have strong mindset, or have you ever had a mindset coach or practiced any specific mindset techniques? Like, how did you get where you are with your mindset? Because you must be extremely strong in your head to run that many laps in pain and with no sleep.
Yeah, so I did work with a mindset coach for, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe a little bit more. I can't remember specifically. But that was, yeah, I learned a lot of good techniques with that, in like meditation. So not just like, sitting down in the comfort of a chair, like closing your eyes and meditating, but even when I'm out there running and just tuning into like, the sounds and smells and sights around me. But also kind of freeing yourself from expectations. Like I don't go into these events thinking, oh, I'm going to run this many laps, I'm going to run for this long, I'm going to get the world record, or I'm going to get a PB. It's like I just bring it all back to process. Like I've got this process that I follow. I'm just going to go in there and I'm going to focus on my process. Like don't worry about the big numbers. And I think that's what a lot of people can kind of get caught up in. Like they just, they might go, whether their goal is 24 hours or 48 hours or 100 hours, they can get so caught up on that. So if they, for example, go into the race and their goal is 24 hours and they get to 10 hours and they're like, well, hang on, this is like really hard right now. Like, how am I going to get to 24 hours? They can find it really hard to get to that point. Whereas if you're not focused on that and you just focus on the process, you can get to that 10 hours and you think, well, yeah, this is hard, but all I got to do is I got to focus on the next lap and follow what my plan is for that lap. And then they'll find that they keep following that process. When they get to 24 hours, they'll be like, oh, look at that, I made it to 24 hours. Now let's just keep going. Let's just keep following that process. And also, yeah, like if people have a goal for 24 hours, they'll reach that 24 hours and it's like, you know what, I've hit my goal. Like it kind of gives them that out, like I can stop now, which is fine for some people. Like there's plenty of people that go in there and they just want to hit these targets and call it a day. But if your goal is to go as far as you possibly can and push yourself to your limits or even past your limits, then you have to like free yourself of all those expectations and those goals.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've met a lot of people and I have a lot of friends that have done some amazing ultra races in the past, like 250K, 170K, and they went to Backyard Ultra with the big expectations and they burned. And I
Yeah.
think it's the mindset and the expectation, but also the Backyard Ultra is very start and stop. And I think the stopping is what kills most people, because just for the listeners, if they don't realize, you have 1 hour to run the 6.8K, and then whatever you have left to the hour, that's your rest, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long is normally your lap and how long is your rest? Like on
Well, it
average?
does vary. So I have different pace ranges depending on what I want to do during the break. So if I'm having a sleep, for example, I want to get as much sleep as possible. My laps will be in, maybe 38 to 40 minutes. Whereas if I don't have much to do during the break at all, I'll go right up to like 55 minutes. So there is a kind of a big variance there. And yeah, we talk about people like that stop start thing. Like a lot of people will quit in the chair. Like they come in, they finish a lap, they might finish it with enough time, they'll sit in the chair and then the call will come for the next lap, and they'll be like, you know what, no, that's it, I'm done. Or they might go and start the next lap, take like 2 or 3 steps past the start line, and then be like, yeah, I'm done. And there's very few people that actually what we call timeout, which is where they try to finish the lap, but they're just not fast enough to do it in the hour. So a lot of people will quit before they get to that point.
Yeah, I think it must be extremely hard after a few days to start again. Also, like not just mentally, but physically. Don't you get all stiff and like sore? No?
No, I don't really get that. I have heard of it happening to other people, but I think my body's just kind of more used to it. And they know that even though I'm stopping, like mentally, like my body knows it's going to be starting again. But whereas like when the race is finished for good and it's like it's my actual last lap and the race is over, then yeah, if I go to try and run after that, then my body's like, no, no, hang on, we're done. Like, I don't need to run anymore. And then my body might start to like seize up or break down.
Yeah.
But during the event, it's like, I just know it's like, this is only a short rest. And then
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be running again.
So once again, it's all about the mindset. It's in
Yeah,
our
yeah,
head. Yeah.
yeah.
But you said, actually, I'm shocked because I didn't realize that you actually sleep in the breaks. Like, how can you fall asleep and wake up and be ready all in 20 minutes? That's like a
Yeah.
special superpower.
Yeah, I have gotten pretty good at falling asleep quickly. So a lot of it is meditation. I do have one of my crew members who comes sometimes. He can do hypnosis, which really helps as well. But I think, yeah, it's just about training your body to be able to fall asleep quickly. So this isn't just something that I do on race day. It's every night when I go to bed. I've got like a nighttime routine of, how I go to sleep. And yeah, pretty much most nights when I go to sleep, I'm yeah, within a few minutes of my head hitting the pillow, like I'm out. So it's definitely like a daily practice that has got me good at doing that in the events. In maybe the first night, and even sometimes the second night, I'm not really getting into that deep sleep stage, but it's all about establishing those routines. So just come in on a night lap, lie down, close my eyes, meditate. If I fall asleep, then that's a bonus. But if not, then, at least I've had some sort of rest and I've got to tune out for a little bit. But by the time I get to like third, fourth, fifth night, I'm falling asleep pretty quickly and getting into that deep sleep. And then like my crew will wake me up about 3 minutes before the start of the next lap. And after say like 15 minutes sleep, sometimes it feels like it's been 2 hours or 3 hours. And it gets to sunrise and I've had a sleep like on most of the night laps. As soon as it gets to sunrise and the sun's coming up, I feel like I've had a decent sleep. Like it would be about maybe 2 hours throughout the whole night or 2.5 hours. Just in those little increments all added up. But yeah, as soon as that sun's up, sometimes it feels like I've had a decent sleep throughout that night and I'm ready to tackle another day.
That's incredible. I can't imagine doing that. It just blows my mind. But so do you lie down and meditate or sleep in every break, or do you do other things like, let's say, at the first 10, 20 laps?
So I just do that on the night laps. So
Okay.
probably if we say there's 12 night laps, on 9 of those night laps, I'll be, lying down, meditating, maybe sleeping. And then during the day, it's a bit less structured during the day, but I do have things that I need to do. Like, I'm pretty much eating every break. So my crew will have food ready for me. I might be having a shower. I might be having a foot bath. I might be getting my sunscreen put on. There's all these other little things that I need to do. But yeah, I have a plan and pretty much I've got something to do every break and that's all planned out in advance. So, I come in from the lap and then my crew's all ready to do what it is on my plan for that hour.
Okay, so structure and planning for everything, same as with everything in
Yeah,
life. I love this.
yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
now I'm thinking that I'd actually love the backyard ultra because those are all the things that I love. I just don't think my
yeah,
body would hold up. How does
yeah.
your body hold? Like, do you ever get injured?
I've been doing really well the last couple of years. So even after like over the last 2 years, every big race that I've had, whether it's a a backyard ultra or a 24-hour run or a 100-mile run, I've still been able to get out and run the next day. So my body's held up really well, and it seems to be recovering better now than it ever has before. So when I first started doing these events, I would run a backyard ultra, and then I might not be able to run for like a week after that. But yeah, recently I can't pin it down to any one individual thing, but uh, yeah, I think just a lot of little things combined has just made my recovery work really well. And I've had that, there's been like a bigger focus on sleep and things like that, which I think a lot of people overlook how important that sleep is. It's like your number one recovery tool. You can spend all this money on, um, like ice bars and, supplements and things like that. But at the end of the day, I think it comes down to just having a really good sleep. So that's probably been a bigger focus. Um, but yeah, I try to run every single day, and that includes the day straight after the event.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. And so, okay, so you said you do lots of little things for recovery besides sleep. Can you just give us a rundown of what they are?
So I've been getting into the sauna a lot more often. So um, I'm in the sauna every day that I can, which is probably works out to about 4 or 5 days a week. Um, I do magnesium every night before bed. Just as I said, the sleep is a big component. Um, and then yeah, so what was the other thing I was going to say? Just
Anything
like
else?
eating right. Yeah, just eating right, and making sure your nutrition is all good. So I might, after an event, I might binge a bit and have like a lot of like what we'd traditionally call junk food, but I think that's just my body getting the calories back in. And even though they might be considered like bad calories, it's like, calories are calories, and I'm replacing that energy. So I'm not the type of person that gets super conscious about my weight or anything like that. So if my body's hungry and it needs to eat, then I make sure that I'm eating.
Yeah. What is the junk food you like to binge on after the race?
Uh, so during the races, I stock up on a lot of food, and a lot of that stuff is like highly processed food. Like it's real quick, easy carbs, like custards, lollies, chips, all of that. So after the event, I've got all of this kind of junk food left over, and yeah, I just eat all of that throughout my recovery. I'll have like probably my guilty pleasure is Hungry Jacks. I'll go and get like a big Hungry Jacks meal, which yeah is yeah, I know it's not great for you, but that's what my body's craving at the time, and I've kind of just run 800 Ks, so a few extra, yeah, something like that. It's not really gonna hurt. Um, but yeah, it's yeah,
Yeah,
just
well, no,
whatever my
no
body feels like.
judgment, but I'm
Yeah,
slightly shocked about the junk food. So, okay, you say you eat lots of like carby foods during the race, which makes sense.
yeah,
Most runners of
yeah,
your kind do it. But do you actually have any protein intake during the race?
yeah. So I work with a nutritionist, and yeah, so she structures all my plan, and that's one thing that she looks at as well. It's not just about carbs and calories. But yeah, she's also looking at protein and like sodium and caffeine and all these other things. So in terms of protein, I'm having like protein shakes. I'm having like microwave meals, which might be like you know, a, a butter chicken or just like some braised beef or something like that. I'll have ham and cheese wraps. Um, what else? Yeah, just like choc milks and stuff. So just yeah, all of that stuff. I'm yeah making sure I'm getting protein throughout the event.
Yeah, no, that's good. And so you said that besides aside of the racing, you
Yeah.
eat healthily to not be injured and to recover. So what does it mean to you eating healthily? What does that look like?
So yeah, just try to eat. Like I don't have any strict diet or anything like that. I just try to eat like more like real foods, I guess. Less processed stuff. So and I just try to keep it simple as well. So like for dinner each night, we're just looking for something that's got some protein, something that's got some carbs, and We've got some greens in there, like we've got some veggies and stuff, and just all stuff that we're not really using packet meals or anything like that with all the added sugars and stuff. It's like we're just buying this fresh food and just putting it together to try and make healthy dinners. And yeah, just yeah, try to keep it simple, and by doing that way, I find it's more sustainable as well. So I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of tweaks I could make in my diet to make it healthier. Uh, but if it's harder to stick to, then I'm not going to be, yeah, then it's not going to be any good anyway if I'm not sticking to it. So my philosophy is just try and keep it simple and, tick all of those basic boxes.
Well, that sounds good. So you've got simple, real, like a whole food all year round, and then you eat the
Yeah,
junk during the race.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do
That's
you feel
yeah.
any different in your stomach after? Because like if you eat healthily all year round and then all of a sudden you have junk food for 5 days, does your stomach feel funny or?
I still definitely eat junk food normally as well, just not as much. So it's not
Notice.
like I'm like anything that I eat in the race, like I'm used to using that in training and stuff as well. So it's not like I'm eating, 100% healthy all the time, and then it gets
Yeah.
to an event and it's just like I just go all out on the junk food. Um, it's just like the ratio changes, I guess. So yeah, I will still have that junk food, and I'll still snack throughout the day. But my main meals throughout the day, I try to keep them nice and healthy. And yeah, but I'm still snacking and having treats here and there. And when I'm doing my longer training runs, I'm using the sort of foods that I will be using during the ultra runs
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. Do you mind me to ask you how old are you?
39.
39. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. I think you must have incredible genetics because it's unheard of. This like a very tough physical challenge combined with junk food and you never get injured and you feel great. I love
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah, some of it might be down to genetics, but I haven't always naturally been good. Like when I first started running, like I was always like a back of the pack runner, and when I first got
Really?
into ultras, I was getting injured quite a bit. So it's kind of something that I've just built up gradually over time to get to this level that I'm at. But
Okay.
yeah,
So
I mean,
how old were
genetics would definitely play a role, but I think a lot of it is just the way I've built my body up over time.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So how old were you when you started first running ultras and racing?
So my first official ultra was in 2019. So what was that? I would have been 33.
So that's
Um,
not long ago. And what kind
so
of
yeah, but
injuries?
a lot of it has just been like inflammation on tendons and stuff like that. Nothing really serious. I mean, I think the longest I've been out of running is maybe 2 weeks, where I've just had like an inflammation so bad that I haven't been able to run for 2 weeks. But like I've never had any stress fractures or anything kind of like never had plantar fasciitis, touch wood. Um, but yeah, it's just a lot of the time it's just been inflammation in the tendons or something kind of that can be fixed within a few weeks. Um, so
You're
nothing,
so
yeah, nothing
lucky.
super
So,
serious.
okay, so you've only been running for 6 years on this level. What did you do for training before 2019?
So I was focused a lot on the 5K to marathon distance.
Okay.
Um, so I used to go to parkrun a lot, and I mean that was a weekly 5K hit out, and like I was very focused on trying to bring my PB down. So when my first ever parkrun, I was just under 20 minutes, and over the course of um, yeah, like what 5 or 6 years, I got that down to um, under 16 minutes. So my best is
Wow.
15:37. Uh, and yeah, so that was my focus. And I just love doing a fast 5K, and like the marathons, I enjoyed those as well, but I would say the 5K was my favorite. And but yeah, then I kind of got introduced into the world of ultra running into backyards, and then the 5Ks kind of took a back seat. Like I still like to go and do a fast 5K every now and then, but only if it really like if it fits in with my training. Um, like the other week, well not the other week, probably a few months ago now, I had a 100K run on my plan, but I still on that run, I ran to park run, which was 35 Ks away. I did a fast 5K park run, and then I did like a 60K cool down. So I incorporated that into my, yeah, I incorporated the park run into my 100K training run.
So you do 100 Ks training run in one day.
Yeah.
How often do you do that?
Maybe once or twice a year.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not a regular thing. But yeah, just it depends on what events I've got coming up and um, yeah, just how it fits into my training plan.
Is this like a progression? Do you build up to? Do you do like 30K run, 40, 50, and then
Yeah, definitely. I don't just go running 100K straight away. So normally like my long runs will be probably around anywhere between 40 and 60 Ks. And then every now and then, yeah, I'll have that longer run where it's, yeah, like 80 to 100 Ks.
And so the 40 to 60K long run, how often is that?
That'll be at least probably once a month or even once every 3 weeks. But yeah, it can depend.
Yeah. And so on the other weeks, when you don't do the long run, how many Ks a week do you think you would run? Like, what's your volume?
Um, so my volume is anywhere between say 100 and 180. Again, just where I am at with my training cycle. But
Yeah.
so I'd say on average, it's between probably 120 and 140. But yeah, that 180, that'd be like my peak week, and the 100K would be like a deload week.
Okay, well, that makes sense because at the beginning you said you don't train that much and like you just run to and from work. So it's like, how does it work? Like not running that much and then running that,
Uh,
big race, but 120 to 180K, that's a quite
yeah,
big volume every week.
it's not that I don't train that much. It's that it doesn't feel like it cuts into my time too much because
Okay.
a lot of it is incidental. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I could do 100 Ks just running to and from work in a week, and then, I'm just making up the other, 20 to
Yeah.
60 Ks, whatever, in my other runs. So, um, yeah, like it just all kind of seems to fit into my day without feeling like it's taken up a lot of time.
Yeah, okay, now it makes sense. And do you have a coach for your running? Does someone give you a running program or you literally just run around to and from work and don't have any like goals for your training or how does it look like?
Yeah, so I write my own plan, so I do have structure to it, but I'm not working with a coach. I have worked with coaches in the past, and I've kind of learned a little bit from each coach, and kind of applied that and developed my own kind of system for that.
That's great. And do you do any biohacking? Like, do you do ice baths or hyperbaric chambers and compression boots or IVs, anything that's biohacking?
Not really, like I haven't done any of that stuff. I think unless you count like the sauna, um, or every now and then I'll go in for like a massage or like I have used those boot things before, but more of as a like recovery tool. Um, but yeah, I don't know, I just try to keep things simple.
I was just about to say, you really do keep things simple, and it seems to be working for you.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And so, okay, when you finish the backyard ultra, let's say the last time you finished the world record,
Yeah.
how do you feel? Like, how does your nervous system feel? Because a lot of the times when I finish the big run, I feel a bit like irritated and a little bit cold. And yeah, how do you feel?
No, I don't get any of that. I probably feel tired. Um, but also it's like I don't know, I feel like I don't know, it's like a really good feeling, I guess. Like you just kind of um it's just that finish line feeling, like you're just really elated, like you've just pushed yourself really far and achieved something that um is beyond your expectations and yeah, it's just I guess that runner's high, but you think of a runner's high as after like finishing a marathon. This is just like your runner's high like tenfold because it's just
Wow.
so much bigger and such a monumental achievement that hardly like there's so many people that have finished a marathon Um, but yeah, when it comes to like backyard ultras and running at that level, it's like you kind of, you know, touching the bounds of reaching the bounds of what's possible for a human. So it's yeah, I don't know. It's a very surreal feeling and it's hard to explain. Um, but yeah, it's yeah, I normally just want to have a shower and have a nap straight
Yeah, I
away.
bet. It is
Yeah.
definitely superhuman achievement. It's just, yeah, it blows my mind. I keep thinking about it. I love running, but I don't know if I could do that. It's definitely next level. And
Yeah.
you said that you don't get sore and you go running the next day. Is that right? Do you ever get
I
any
wouldn't say
muscle?
I don't. I wouldn't say I don't get sore. I'm definitely sore, and I do run the next day, and I'm definitely very sore when I am running the next day. But it's more of, for me, it's like a mental thing. Like I want to prove to myself that I can still run, and like I've got a run streak going, so I want to run every single day. So rain, hail, or shine, I'm out there running, and just because I've run a big race the day before, or you know, the days before, that's not an excuse to not go out there and run the next day. So it's more of, yeah, like, you know, maybe it might be of benefit to my body to rest a little bit longer, but I think in terms of like mentally recovering, I think going for that run is a good thing for me mentally.
Yeah, I totally get it. I miss running so much. I haven't ran in like 3 months now. It's killing me because I've got really bad injury, and I'm so envious of you that you don't get injured. I love it though. It's just such a inspirational story. What would be your best advice for someone who has never done the backyard ultra and wants to do it for the first time, and they might not be elite runner. They're just like someone who can run half marathon or marathon, but they're not like great. They're just recreational.
Yeah, well, the great thing about the backyard it really is a run for everybody. Like it doesn't matter if you can do one lap or you can do 100 laps. Like anyone can sign up for a backyard ultra. And so my advice to someone who's just starting would be to not look at, you know, what all the elite runners are doing, and don't think you have to go in there and run 100 hours, or even if you have to run 24 hours or 12 hours, just go in there thinking, I just need to run 1 hour. And then once you've done that 1 hour, it's like, well, I just need to run another hour, and just kind of break it down lap by lap. Don't set yourself any big goals or expectations. Just go in there with the thought that I want to stay in this race for as long as possible. And it's a very individual thing. So don't look around and compare yourself to others. Just think about what you can do and focus on your own process.
Yeah, that's a great advice. I've got another question. I sent you some chief bars before to
Yeah,
try.
yeah.
Um, and I want honest answer. Would you consider having them within the race? Yes, no?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to talk to my nutritionist about it because I've got a plan that works really well for me. I have enjoyed the bars, um, but I just yeah don't know how they would work in a backyard ultra for me. So as I said before, I definitely want to have that protein. Um, so yeah, it's definitely a consideration. I just yeah, I might test it in my next race. Uh, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm curious. So if you had them, would you have the collagen bars or the meat bars or both?
I prefer the meat bars, and I think um, like the collagen bars, they might be um, a bit too dry,
Yeah,
maybe to like sometimes even eating something like a muesli bar can be hard to get down because you know might need to have a lot of water with it, especially
yeah.
if it's a hot event, and that's
Hmm.
why the foods like you know custards and lollies and
Yeah,
protein shakes and that sort of stuff
soft.
works really well. Yeah,
Yeah,
something that's soft and easy to digest. But whereas like the meat bars, I think they've got a bit more moisture in them.
yeah.
So I think they'll be the one to go for.
Love it. I'll send you some more.
Yeah, awesome. Thank
I'll
you.
send you some. Thank you so much for today. That was really, really good. I love it. Oh, one more question that I ask everyone, and I forgot to ask you. What is your
Yep.
favorite book, if you have one, or book that you've been reading lately?
Um, so a book that I read probably once a year, which I would recommend to everyone, and it applies a lot to running, but also just to everyday life. Atomic Habits by James Clear.
I
So
love that
I've
book.
yeah, I've learned so much in that book that's helped me with my running and helped me build good habits around my running. So if anyone out there is listening to this podcast and hasn't heard of that book or hasn't read that book, I strongly recommend you go and get it.
Love it. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day.
Yeah, you
And
too. Thank you.
I send you some Chief bars, and I hope to join
Yeah,
you one day on a course.
yeah, awesome.
Hopefully.
Thank you.
See you, Phil. Bye.
See you later.
Thank you for listening. Let us know in the comments below what topics interest you, and don't forget to follow us.